Hi guys. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the senior project more so because I want you to understand what your choices are and what the organization and the criteria is. So I'm going to do that really quick. So on page 4, it lists some possible research project choices as well as the organization and criteria. I know some of you are really nervous about this project. I know you're freaking out and saying, Mama Shro, how am I supposed to do this? Well, let me explain. I'm not expecting you to do a project without telling you. Like, I wouldn't ask you to bake me a cake if I didn't give you the recipe, right? So the recipe is located right here on page 4. Let's look at the organization and criteria because we have it set up for you. So first of all, the criteria for the career research paper is listed on page 4. And your paper has to be 1,300 words, all right? So because it has to be 1,300 words, that's going to average about 5 pages. We give you 5 different topics to go for, 5 different criteria. So criteria for the career research paper, it's all right there. You just really have to go 1 page for each topic. Topic number 1, history of the profession. So you're going to talk about the early development of, for example, teaching, and the 21st century development of teaching. So your first section is your first page is broken into 2 different sections. The history of teaching early on and later, like modern day. Your second section is the influence of a person. So that's separate from your interview. We're not doing job shadows, especially now when we're quarantined. But that is a person that's influenced your profession, not influenced you to go into it. Like if you've always wanted to be a teacher because your grandma was a teacher, that's great. And I'm sure your grandma's wonderful, but it's really who's influenced the profession of teaching. So first you will give them an A biographical sketch of their professional life. How did, for example, Mary Montessori, who began the whole idea of kindergarten, talk about her professional life? And then B, I'm just going through the outline right here, folks. B is, what are some of her contributions to the field? How did she contribute to the field of education? Let's look at number 3, which is defining the profession right there, okay? So in this, you have 4 different sections. So if you really only have to come up with a page to a page and a half about each of the sections or each of the Roman numerals, so defining the profession with 4 different sections, A, the responsibilities and duties of the profession of being a teacher, for example. B, the working conditions of being a teacher. C, the difficulties of the profession. And D, the salary and benefits. You only need to come up with a small portion for each of those sections. Okay, so what are the duties and responsibilities of being a teacher? What are the working conditions? And working conditions are going to vary depending on if you're teaching at Galt High School, Liberty Ranch High School, Granite Bay High School, or some private school down in Los Angeles. All right, or even an inner city school that doesn't have technology or whatever else. What are some of the difficulties of the profession? Once again, for example, of teaching. What are the difficulties of teaching? Maybe grading everything or dealing with parents. Sorry, mom and dad. Or I don't know, trying to motivate your students. So talk about some of the the difficulty of the profession that way. Salary and benefit, that is going to vary greatly depending on where you work, what school district you work in, if you're, once again, private or public school. So please be aware of that as well. Our 4th topic, or 4th Roman numeral, is training and education. So what is post-secondary education that you are required to have for this profession? So for teaching, for example, I'm required to get a teaching credential after I get my bachelor's degree. So secondary education, remember, is high school. So what after high school training am I expected to receive? Am I supposed to get a college education? Am I supposed to get just a certificate? What do I have to have? Do I want to go all the way on to get my master's degree? And what post-secondary? So do I personally plan on achieving? I obviously need to get my teaching credential, but do I want to get my master's? Do I want to go on and get my doctorate? And finally, Roman numeral 5, advancement opportunities and outlook for employment. And there are 3 different categories for that. Promotion within the industry, projected job growth and future trends that could affect this profession. So, some promotion within the industry. As a teacher, am I going to be a department chairperson? Am I going to be a support provider for other teachers? What promotion is there for teachers? Do I also get another master's degree and eventually become an administrator, superintendent, somebody that runs the Department of Education? B, what is my projected job growth of being a teacher? As actually right now, ironically, that, and C, future trends that could affect this profession, that really does play into, especially right now. Here I am doing something that I never thought I would be doing, distance learning with my little darlings. You should have seen me trying to figure out how to do YouTube. Whoa. I am definitely not somebody that will have 30 million followers, because I need to have like confetti shooting out and balloons and all kinds of fun things going on to keep you interested. And I'm trying my best. But also remember that you might say, Mama Shro, this doesn't make any sense. So, okay, for example, training and education. There is no post-secondary training and education for my job because maybe I want to become a mechanic. And so I'm not going to go to college to become a mechanic. I instead am going to go to my uncle's shop and I am going to apprentice for him. And that is post-secondary education. Just because it's not in a normal mortar and brick school system, you're still learning and you will continue to learn while on the job. All right. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions about this, please go ahead and email me, shoot me a text, send me a reminder. I would be happy to answer any questions you have. I hope these are entertaining. I'm trying. Bye guys. Stay safe. Love ya.